What up, what up, what up, peoples? We back at it again with the rest of Spooktober, even though we're not going to say that Halloween has passed, but we're going to continue anyway. I got MC Paperstacks back with me, back again.
Woo, yeah, that's right, GP. It's still Halloween.
It's
in our
still
hearts.
Halloween in our
That's
hearts.
Right.
Yes.
It'll never stop being Halloween until Thanksgiving in my heart. I do feel like, I don't know about you, I feel like October went a little too fast.
Too fast.
Right?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, too fast.
And I feel like not enough people celebrated. Usually, like, the shows, everybody's putting out Halloween, this and that. I feel like, people slept on Halloween this year a little bit. It felt like.
I felt like I just saw a bunch of Beetlejuices running around.
Yeah, and some Lilo and Stitches. I guess they have that live action movie coming out. That's why
Right.
I saw a bunch of Stitches running around. I was like, what? No ray guns though. I'm like, y'all need to step up your Stitch costume.
Zach Braff was a ray gun for Halloween.
Oh, okay.
That's that.
That'll work. Oh my
Yeah.
God, live action Lilo and Stitch. Who's gonna play Nani? Because she got a fat ass, son. I'm getting derailed. We got to talk about these horror movies.
yeah. Let's get out of that Disney booty. But anyway,
Get off that Disney booty.
Yes. We starting off with Cuckoo.
That's right. And we have two movies. We have a double creature feature.
Double feature.
Woo. So I'm glad too, because I liked one of these movies and I didn't like the other. So I'm not gonna sound so negative now. Thank you for that.
Okay. All right.
And for this one, just to make sure, okay, so we are not gonna like spoiler cast, walk through beat by beat we did Abigail. We're gonna do
Right.
like more of an over. We can still do spoilers though, right?
We could do spoilers. Since it's a double feature, we could talk on these movies, spoil it, don't matter.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll if it's maybe we can timestamp it. That way we can give our initial thoughts, be vague, and then when we want to go into spoilers, we can. That way,
Okay.
if folks want to watch these movies, they won't necessarily be ruined. They can skip ahead.
Okay. Yeah. Let's start with that. So we starting off with Cuckoo. Yes. Directed
crazy,
by directed by Tillman Singer.
Tillman Singer, have you seen his previous or her? I don't know what the gender is. Have you seen their previous film, Luz? Because I have not.
No, I did not. Is it another little thriller horror thing?
Yeah, I heard it's kind of like trippy and art housey, kind of like this movie in a way.
Okay, so that's just their style.
Yeah, seems like it. LUZ. I'm gonna check it out, even though this. Not to spoil anything, this is the horror movie I didn't like. I'm just gonna step out the gate. I don't like it.
Okay.
Not for me.
Okay. After reluctantly moving to the German Alps with her father and her new family, Gretchen discovers that their new town hides sinister secrets, and she's plagued by strange noises and frightening visions of a woman pursuing her.
Cuckoo, 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 cuckoo.
Okay.
That's the sound the stalker makes. She goes cuckoo, cuckoo. Oh my God.
Okay. All right. So you
She
just
pops out a clock like cuckoo. What time is it? It's 12 o'clock midnight. Cuckoo, cuckoo. She come out with a knife. Cuckoo. Stab you.
She did come out at night. Yeah.
No, I said she come out with a knife.
Oh, a knife. Oh, yeah.
She ain't got no knife. She ain't got no. She does come out at night. She a freak.
Yeah.
We know what the freaks do.
Yeah, she got throat powers.
That's right. Well, freaks got throat powers too. Shit, the freaks come out at night, GP. The freaks come out at... The freaks come out.
What?
They got them throat powers too, man. Make you want to redo things. I'm talking do it over and over and over. I need a freak with long hair. A super freak with throat powers. Part 2. I need a cuckoo. This one's called I need a bird. I'm in a mood, dude. I'm sorry. My God.
This is starring Dan Stevens, Jessica Hardwick, Madden Coxus, and Jan Bluehart.
Sure. Did you mention Hunter Schafer? Because she's the star.
Hunter Schafer.
So Hunter
she's a model,
Schafer, right? Well, yeah, she was in Euphoria again.
Okay.
We're gonna. You know what? I was looking through the cast, the director, all that good stuff. A lot of like these two movies we're gonna talk about tie to Abigail. Wild.
Okay.
It's a 2 degrees of Kevin Bacon type shit situation.
Ah.
So we have Dan Stevens. He was directly in Abigail, right?
Right.
Hunter Schafer, who played Gretchen in Euphoria, like Homeboy last week.
Oh,
yeah.
That the connections. Okay, I got it.
It connects, and ain't the only way it connects, but we'll get to it. I'm gonna say some positive. I'm gonna say a lot of positive things about this movie, even though I don't like it, dude. I'm gonna say a lot of positive things. And if it's okay with you, I want to start with Gretchen. I liked her.
Me too. I like
the acting. I'll go ahead.
Right? Sorry. I think she's the character reminds me of a character in Scott Pilgrim vs. the World for some reason.
Ramona?
It's between a few characters in that
Okay.
movie. Yeah. It's just like just the way how she lives her life, or just like the music she listens to, and
like an angsty, grungy teen who is a musician. She does have a vibe. Yeah. She listens to a lot of Beck. She listens to a lot of Frank Black. Yeah, no, like she can wail on the bass. She slap at the bass.
Yeah, slap at the bass.
Slap at the bass. Slap at the bass. She's impressing her younger stepsister, you know?
Yeah.
Slap at the bass.
Now, yeah, I got questions about this movie too. I'm not like saying this is a really great movie. I just dig the mystery element.
I'm glad somebody did.
Yeah.
I mean, okay, so without spoiling it, there is a mystery here, right? Like it's a stalker type horror movie where there is a mystery. You're not really sure what's going on. People are acting weird. You don't know who to trust. There's like this thing out there that's chasing you, you know, and you're like, what is happening, right?
Right.
Okay, so Gretchen, let's finish on her real quick, and we'll probably talk about her throughout. She is the star, but I like her. I like her character. I think Hunter Schafer acted the shit out of the role. I like her in a horror movie because we talked about suspension of disbelief and characters doing shit that you don't think they should do. And, you know, last time we were talking about Abigail, she is a very competent horror protagonist.
Yeah.
Like, she's a take action type of chick. You know what I mean? She's like,
yeah.
She takes action.
She had knives under her bed, so she was ready for anything.
Oh, she's ready to get stabby.
Yeah.
And no, like, she really was a fighter, and she was somebody who, you know, she was beset by the fact that nobody else in this film, and this will be my first critique, nobody else in this film acts like a fucking human being, save for maybe her stepsister. But everybody acts so weird. Her parents?
Everybody. I think it's
weird.
I understand the town, but I didn't understand her father.
Yeah, at one point you're like, is he in on the conspiracy? But I don't know if he was originally written to be and they wrote it out.
But they never said, like...
No, I don't think he was in on it. That's the thing.
You don't think so?
No. Yeah. I mean, maybe because he's connected to the doctor, and the doctor is not, without spoiling anything, he's kind of, you know, he's in there somewhere.
Yeah.
Koenig, Dan Stevens, they call it he's got a terrible German accent. He's like, hello? Gretchen? It's Gretchen. Yes, I said Gretchen. Your name is Gretchen?
See, I think
that.
I think that part. I think that's the. All right, we go to spoilers right now.
Okay. Let's do the spoiler warning. Is there anything else you want to say before we get into spoilers, though? Like overall.
No.
Okay. I'll say overall, I didn't find it scary. There were a couple of jump scares that were startling, but even then I came down from them really quick. I'm like, it's like when you get jump scared by a cat and you're like, get the fuck out of here, cat.
Yeah. Exactly.
But I wasn't jumping or scared because of the atmosphere they set up, or the tenseness of the scenes, or the way things were shot, even though they were very competently shot. This is a beautiful movie.
It is.
It is not the sum of its parts. It has all of these awesome scenes that we can probably get into during the spoilery bits, because I think it'd be easier to describe them while we spoil them. But it's artfully done. It's beautiful. The cinematography, the costuming is great. The acting is great. It felt more like a highlight reel for the director than it felt like a cohesive plot. Does that make sense?
Kind of like a a music video that's trying to be mysterious.
Thank you. He's out here trying to get a job. He's not trying to tell a story, right? He's just trying to like get picked up by Marvel or somebody. I don't know. But,
Yeah.
Okay. Spoilers. Let's go. Fuck it.
Okay. All right. The scene when she first arrived.
Mm-hmm.
I think Dan Steve's character. I think he was. I think when they saw her face along with the other nurse, like she was the potential spoil in their plans because they wasn't expecting her.
Yeah, no, they didn't want her to be there, and I actually thought the bird lady at one point was her mom, but I think her mom did die separately, and that wasn't her mom because she would have recognized her mom because that bird lady, that's the stalker, y'all. It's a bird lady.
It's a bird lady, and then
she got all up in her face, and she didn't recognize her, but the bird lady was attracted to her, so I was wondering if maybe she was the stolen egg or the spoiler. Like she was attracted to her because that was the original egg that was swapped or something. Because you notice they have the picture of the doctor and the husband and the new wife.
Right.
And I was like, did the husband get cucked by the doctor and then that's how she got her stepsister?
Yeah.
Or was she also like, was her dad cucked with her mom and the doctor because they knew each other? Like, because the whole thing is predicated on what type of birds? Were they sparrows or swallows or what type of bird?
I'm not sure.
Cuckoos.
I know it was just loud.
It was a cuckoo. Yeah. So these birds, there are a particular species of birds. If you're an ornithologist, first of all, thanks for stopping by. But if you're an ornithologist and you study birds, and you're a big old nerd, you probably know that there's a certain species of bird that will trick other birds into raising its young. It'll literally grab its egg and just pop it into a random bird's nest, and then that bird will then raise the egg that is not its egg with the other eggs that like it'll raise it with its babies. And this particular type of bird will get aggressive, and sometimes the real babies will die because the other bird is larger and eating more of the food. Right?
Yeah.
So it's a situation.
Yeah.
And they were trying. This is the biggest critique I have with this film. I do not understand why in the fuck they were trying to make human bird hybrids by using the same, like, get somebody else to raise your kid method. I have no idea what's going on and why. I know I was told. I'm an ornithologist. I'm trying to preserve. And then, the bird lady comes around and it goes, see? And it's just like, no, I do not see. What, can you explain this shit to me?
I think it's because it's a species that's a wild species, so it's not really known. So I think
the bird itself was known. It was a common bird.
Yeah, but I'm talking about like the woman.
Yeah, no, because they did some gene splicing. That's the thing. They didn't explain. I don't know if it's gene splicing. I don't know, because like the bird lady would like paralyze other women, and then she like grabs some goo from her vag, I guess.
That's the question I want to know.
I think what I think she was doing. You know how like women have eggs,
right?
We all know this. Okay, there are some men who might not know this. Recently, it was revealed that men don't know a whole lot about women's anatomy, which I think is hilarious. But women have fallopian tubes. They have ovaries. The eggs are produced. They kind of flow down. They wait to be fertilized. If they're not fertilized, they're flesh. So women have eggs. They're just not like chicken eggs.
Right.
So I feel like they deposit their eggs into their hand, and then they go and like insert the eggs in the other woman, I guess. But they don't show that. It's always like she's about to do it, and she gets interrupted.
But see, that's a whole other question, because like, isn't Christina Hendricks is like part Asian, right?
Who's Christina Hendricks?
Christina, the stepmother. That's her name. That's the actress name, I think.
No, the stepmother is Asian. Christina Hendricks is a busty redheaded chick who I am super into. I know exactly who she is.
I know who she is.
I see her coming around the corner with that chest. I got time to comb my hair. Shit.
Wait, I know who she is, but they got the same.
They got the same name?
Jessica Henwick.
There it is.
Okay.
Christina Hendricks. Yeah, you can see.
I'm thinking
brainwashed.
I'm thinking that's what I'm thinking about. Anyway, okay, she's.
I'm sorry, Max. Don't listen to this episode.
She's Asian, right?
Okay, yeah.
So the kid is Asian. So how is the bird woman is still her child? What part of is it sperm she's giving her? Or
well, no, it would be eggs that she gave her, but that raises an interesting point because the bird woman looks white, even though you can't all the way tell because her eyes are like red and her mouth is kind of like
she
most of the time she's dressed like somebody's grandmother. The whole movie, she's got like a big old like owl glasses that an old lady would wear, like sunglasses, and she's got like a handkerchief on her head.
She looked like the end of Thelma and Louise.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. And other than the fact that she screeches and her like throat vibrates and it makes you like that's the other thing. Talk about like, okay, cool scenes. Again, a lot of technique, a lot of cool movie effects. You know, what is the point of the time skip? When she does when she's like when she does her little like hypnosis,
and you
like,
stuck in that loop,
and then you just keep doing the same shit over and over while she just gets closer and closer to you. But it's just like, why though?
I think that's just the artsy directing right there.
Well, it was lame and it served no purpose in the film, and I hated it. Like you could have just had them freeze in their tracks,
freeze frame, and look, have the camera shake,
Hey, and I wouldn't have to watch that shit over because they did it several times in the film. Like I get it. He's gonna keep putting the plate on the shelf until she comes and puts a foot in his ass. Can we just get to it already? Like, do you see why I don't like this film? And then, oh my God, third act, we don't know how to end a film. Let's pull out some guns. Kiss my ass.
That's making an action movie.
Dude, that's how you know they didn't know how the fuck to... you know how, like, when you watch SNL and the skit is okay, but, like, it's going nowhere and you're like, how are they going to end it? And they just don't. That's what this movie felt like. It felt like a poorly thought out SNL sketch where they had a good idea. They did some cool shit with it, but then they're like, we don't really know how to end it, so it's just going to end.
Right. Okay.
Lame.
Okay, I got another question. Okay.
I got all kinds of questions.
Jessica, what was wrong with her at the end?
So they gave her sedatives because they were trying to get her out of there. Because, I mean, she wanted to stick around with her daughter, like anybody would if your daughter's in the hospital, because they were faking all of this, like, illness with her. But what was really happening is she was getting activated because the little daughter, the little sister, she was going to be the next cuckoo, which is why she didn't talk. Because when she finally did use her throat, she hypnotized both of the guys in the shootout so her and her older stepsister, Gretchen, could get away, right?
Okay.
So, like, that was her whole deal, which was cool. And in a better movie, I would have enjoyed that reveal, but I was stuck with this one. And again, it's so maddening to me. I feel like we should have had more backstory with the doctor, and we should have understood his motivation other than I am an ornithologist and I want to preserve the cuckoo.
Also, I think that the woman in the main cuckoo, I think she shouldn't have been. I think that species should have been more creature-like.
Yes, I mean, they had some cool effects with how her mouth kind of stretched and she had some jittery movements, which I thought, again, if filmed a certain way, could have been more creepy than it came off. But I literally I couldn't care less, dude.
And that part probably because the person that's stuck in the trance is probably just artsy way of seeing her mouth stretch. Her mouth probably don't even stretch.
No, I probably don't. And the other thing is, what's she gonna do? She's gonna box your ears and put some eggs in you? Oh no, not eggs. Anything but eggs in my vag. Oh my God, I've never had that happen once a month. Anyways, like, I'm so frustrated because like, remember that scene where she's like riding home on her bike from her work and like you can see like the shadows and the lights. Yeah. And they keep showing her head kind of grow in the shadows, and then she gets to the next like street light and it grows again on the street, and then all of a sudden that lady's behind her. That's cool.
It's elements of the movie is cool.
It would have been cool in a good movie. It's just this movie just kept me at arm's length. Every time I tried to get invested, it just was like, let's be boring though. And I'm like, really?
Right.
Please don't. And the worst part is I feel like I'm going to see some kind of breakdown or some kind of analysis of this film that's going to make me feel so stupid because it's like a really tight allegory, and they're like, you don't understand, it's actually a metaphor for capitalism or some stupid shit. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm dumb. It was me all along. But I don't think it is. I think this movie's bad.
But if it does, would that even change your perspective on the movie?
Because I still didn't enjoy watching it, even if I'm too stupid to enjoy it. Because it's one of those, artsy fartsy, it's elevated. sophisticated. It's the thinking man's horror.
Yeah.
Horror with class. And I'm seeing a lot of like in your like nose in the air critiques of this film already like circulating.
Uh-huh.
And I think people are just hyping it up because it's the new thing, but I think it'll just be as easily forgotten. Because again, there's a lot of stuff to latch onto with this film. There's good acting, there's good casting, there are good moments, there are interesting scenes, but it's not cohesive. It's not interesting as a plot. It's not scary. And I really just do not give a fuck about any of the stakes presented in this film. And that's the most damning aspect of it. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I feel you.
Yeah.
What do you out of 5? What do you?
I'm not gonna give it a 1 purely on the technique because a lot of effort and expertise went into this film. But I'm gonna give it a 2 because fuck you. Cuckoo, get a 2. 2 for you, cuckoo.
I give it a 7.5. I did like the mystery, even though it could have been better. I think that they had a good idea, but I think they mapped it badly.
Yeah, no, if everything else was done incompetently, I would just be like, I would throw this movie away. But the thing that frustrates me most is that the talent was there. Mm-hmm. I just literally think the director was like, whatevs, he's style over substance. And if I know that going in that I'm going to watch a music video, then I'm not going to waste 2 hours with it. I'll just get the highlights, right? Like, I hate when I watch a movie and I felt like I could have done anything else and used my time better. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But I will say, it is fun to discuss, even if it's just to shit on it. Like, there are a lot of fun things to discuss with the film. Mm-hmm. I just don't think it's worth it. There are so many other better horror movies you can watch. No shade to anybody that did enjoy it. It's not my cup of tea. We've talked about the type of horror movies I like. This ain't one of them.
Yeah.
So,
feel you.
Cool.
Okay.
We're going to call it on...
Call it on the cuckoo.
Cuckoo. All right, so we're moving on.
Moving on.
Woo!
To Late Night with the Devil.
Late Night with the Devil.
Do not adjust your set. A live broadcast of a late night talk show in 1977 goes horribly wrong, unleashing evil into the nation's living rooms. All right. This is I cannot say his last name.
I'll say it. David Dastmalchian.
David Dastmalchian.
Yeah.
Laura Gordon. Ian Bliss. Ingrid Torelli.
She's awesome, by the way. We'll talk about her in a bit.
Sorry. Yeah.
No, you're good.
And this is directed by two people, Cameron and Colin. They're brothers.
Yep. Another team. They should call themselves Weird Science or something. What was the last one? Radio Silence?
Radio Silence, yeah. Yep.
Did you see anything else they directed? I forgot to look them up. I think they have done something, but I don't remember what it was. Well, while you're looking that up, I'll talk David Dastmalchian. So those of you who don't recognize his name, you know him. Especially if you're a DC head. He was Polka Dot Man in the most recent iteration of Suicide Squad. Mm-hmm. He was in Gotham, the show. He actually showed up, I think, initially, or at least it was one of his earlier roles, The Dark Knight, that really weird acolyte of the Joker's that was like dressed up as a policeman and like looked crazy. Mm-hmm. I feel like he auditioned for the Joker and they were like, "Nah, we're going to go with Heath Ledger, but we got to utilize that crazy because you have a look that we need to use." He's been like really just out here getting work and doing a good job. Like he's one of those character actors that you recognize but don't really remember until like he's done enough films. But he is building a resume for himself, and everything I've seen him in, he's done a bang up job. And so carrying this film, even with its low budget and with its kind of simple concept, he does an excellent job. I'd watch a talk show with this guy as the host. I would.
Yeah, he sounded like he was a talk show host from that era.
Sure. No, he was. He literally, in my mind, could have been a contender to Johnny Carson, in the movie. Like he was going after the throne.
Yeah, he was trying to be the best.
Yes,
by any means
necessary. Yeah, we'll get into that. But you were going to say about the director?
Yes, they both did 100 Bloody Acres. I think these is all just shorts.
Okay.
Scare Campaign, Night Owls episode.
Okay, which they was the show called Night Owls, the fictional show.
Yeah,
that's cool. That's kind of a cool callback to earlier work. Well, if this is their first feature film, I think they did a bang up job. I don't think they like hit Jordan Peele levels, but honestly, within their own lane, especially with the smaller budget. They did an excellent job.
I actually thought this was a short. I thought this was going to be shorter than what it was.
Oh, you didn't know it was feature length? Okay.
No, I thought it was a short film.
Did it feel too long then, since you were going in expecting something shorter? Like, were you okay with the length? You know, once you
I was okay with the length because I was expecting like they did what they did. I was expecting like just the whole episode of that night, and that's it. I was expecting all the backstory and
yeah, because it's mainly the taping of a particular episode that they recorded on Halloween. Great Halloween movie, by the way.
For sure.
Like, put this in your lexicon for Halloween movies for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, they do some, like, Michael Ironside actually narrates the real, like, the rise to stardom, you know, for Jack Delroy is David's actual character name. And Jack Delroy, it's like he's married to his wife who he loves very much, and he's had some ratings success, and he's had some failures, and then he's rising again. And he has associations with this
all
kind
men
of,
a cult.
All men, yeah. Well, they don't say a cult. They frame it like almost like, what's that men's group, that the Templars, something like that, right?
Okay.
Yeah, like an old timey kind of like men's group. Which, a lot of those things. I mean, especially if you're a conspiracy theorist, all you're hearing is they in
the woods doing some strange stuff.
Yeah, that's a cult. That's a cult. They run the world or whatever, conspiracy crap people come up with. But it's kind of inspired by that. You know what I mean? Like, they're doing something, but they don't frame it that insidiously and initially. It's just kind of like a fraternity of men, so to speak.
Yeah, they basically did that because of that era. The era probably would say the same exact way.
Yeah, exactly. Because I mean, and that's the other thing too. This is set in the 70s, obviously, with the Johnny Carson reference. But with period pieces, especially 70s and 80s and 90s, I feel like you get two flavors. You get like the surface level, like, I think this is what the 90s or 80s or 70s look like, but they don't really put a whole lot of effort into it. Like, they might play some music, they might run the colors, some costuming. You know what I mean? But the 70s is more than, like John Denver and brown and yellow colors. Like, there's a lot more to it. And I feel like they did a really good job capturing how people moved, how they spoke, how a talk show from that time would be designed, and
the set, especially the set.
Yeah, the flow of the show. Obviously, if you're really looking for it, you can see areas where, like, should they be mic'd up? Is this actually got a camera on it? Because they do, like, the actual taping of the show, and they show that footage, and then they show some behind-the-scenes stuff.
Yeah.
But if you let that go, and you're not a stickler for that type of thing when it comes to, like, these, like, this is the footage from that event type of thing. Because it's not like a found footage. Mm-hmm. It's mixed. It's kind of, it feels more like a documentary. Like, this is the taping of the show. Here's the footage we had, right? Yeah. And a lot of cool shit happens. I will say with this film, I wasn't super scared, but there were some tense moments, and I really enjoyed where the film took you in regards to visuals and, like, the tricks that it played, right? Yeah. Yeah. I mean, what'd you think? What were your impressions?
My impressions was the same thing. I liked the way the tension built slowly. As the actual show was going on, worse and worse things was happening, but after commercial break.
Yeah. What I'm saying? For those who don't know, like, the whole plot, they're building towards the interview with a girl who is claiming to be possessed either by the devil or by some sort of demon, because she is a girl who Mr. Wiggles, because he wiggles into my mind. She escaped a satanic cult where they were performing rituals.
Yeah, she was the only one that survived.
She's the only one that survived. And apparently, like, she's working with a psychologist who feels that she is legitly possessed.
Right.
And it's a little exploitative. And you find out later on that Jack and the psychiatrist kind of have, a closer relationship than what seems surface level. So maybe that's why he was able to get the exclusive on that interview. And he really wants these ratings. Right. Like, interviewing somebody who's possessed by the devil on Halloween, like, let's go. You know, even in the 70s, like, because this was, like, I think right before the Satanic Panic. You know what I mean? Yeah. So people were still kind of, like, okay with, like, entertaining the occult without being going, like, this is devil stuff, let's go. It was just more like, oh, that's curious. Let's see what happens. And like you said, there are builds to it. You have a who's the guy? I might need to look him up. You remember Uri Geller?
Uri Geller.
Yeah, he's that guy who claimed to be psychic, like he could bend spoons. You know what I'm talking about?
Let me look him up.
Yeah. Uri Geller. For those who are unfamiliar with him, he was an illusionist, like a magician, television personality, and he told everybody he was psychic, and he would like bend spoons
Okay, I see
on
him.
the air, right?
Yeah.
Now, there was a guy who used to like travel around and like follow him around and like basically debunk him. And they had a character kind of like the guy who would debunk him, and basically he was also a magician, so he knew all the tricks.
Right.
James Randi was his name. So James Randi would expose Uri Geller and other, psychics and charlatans and go, okay, they're bullshitting you, here's how they do it. And he would piss them off. And I feel like the character in this film, and I don't remember the character's name, but they have a
first guest, right?
Yeah, the first guest, who's like, the psychic that you're going to have on tonight, the girl who's possessed that you're going to have on, it's all bullshit, and I will show you. And he was a little over the top, but he was, he's an asshole magician. He was theatrical, and I think he was eating up the fame.
And almost like a character.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
He rode the border of annoying, but I thought he was the perfect foil because he would be so callous and he would try to take the piss out of everybody, but you knew he wasn't really doing it altruistically. He was doing it in service of himself, right?
Yeah.
So you had him, you had the psychic, and by all accounts, he was a fake psychic, but apparently he may have had real. Can we get into spoilers?
Yeah,
we should probably get into spoilers.
We should get into spoilers.
Let's mark spoilers now, because I think there's some major beats of the movie I feel like we should get into.
Yeah,
because one of the major scares is the psychic actually latching on to a real spirit that's nearby, and it driving him insane, and eventually killing him off screen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wish they showed his death on screen, though.
It was scarier that they didn't, because he had his eyes roll in the back of his head. He fainted.
Right.
He vomited up all this black blood, right? All over the skeptic, which I thought was hilarious. He was mad. He was like, how are you going to make him vomit on me? Like, we didn't do that. And then him dying in the ambulance on the way to the hospital, and then getting the news, and then trying to keep because if he had died on stage, they wouldn't have been able to keep it from escalating quickly, right?
Right.
But with him dying off screen and Jack knowing about it and trying to keep it from his guests,
Yeah.
and then so you got the skeptic going, he's bullshit, and then later on learning that he died, like what?
Yeah.
And then you have the skeptic hypnotizing the entire audience, and well, not just the audience, but hypnotizing our point of view as well as I guess Jack's assistant, like his Andy.
Yeah, I think certain people that was actually paying attention.
Yeah. And so you saw like a really gross scene, and then they played back the tape, and that's not what happened at all. So he was illustrating how if you're susceptible, you can be hypnotized into thinking something's happening.
Right.
I thought it was a really cool sequence what they did there. And then you have, the girl come out, and this is what I want to mention. Ingrid Torelli, another link, right? This is wild. So Ingrid Torelli plays Matilda in the Matilda musical, not the movie.
Okay, so that connects to
Abigail too.
Okay.
What's happening here? We didn't plan this, folks.
No.
Ooh, everything's connected by the devil. And all the tropey stuff. We talked about this last week, or not last week. Was it last week when we recorded the episode? I don't know. Last week, whatever.
Yeah, we said that last week.
We say last week. So we talked about this recently with the Abigail episode. I talked about my favorite types of horror movies, and I said I like ghost stories and possessions, but possessions have been kind of played out recently with a few exceptions. This is one of those exceptions because it has all the tropes.
Yeah,
it's got a little girl who's possessed. It's got that weird voice modulation. She puts her head down, her head comes back up. It looks all demony, right?
Yeah.
Talking directly to the person, telling them personal shit they shouldn't know.
Right.
But the way that they frame it in this kind of interview and in the talk show with the live studio audience and all the bright audience and the bright lights, that's so cool because it's still creepy. It's still freaky.
And also the way that they give you the documentary of Jack and his backstory, then you see him reacting to these situations.
Yes.
That nobody's supposed to know about but him, and then this teenage girl just just saying things. Hey, Jack, I'm happy to be here, Jack. And the camera, where to look, Jack, and stuff like that.
The way she stared at the camera, by the way, was so creepy, dude.
Yeah,
like I was actually like unnerved by it. I was like,
and that was just
into my soul.
And that was just the actress. That wasn't no makeup or nothing. That was
no,
just
that
her.
wasn't. She wasn't even like. She hadn't invited Mr. Wiggles in yet. Mr. Wiggles was. Well, I don't know where he was wiggling in somebody else, but she's like, "Are you going to invite Mr. Wiggles in?" She calls him Mr. Wiggles, which is hilarious. Did they ever say what the demon's real name was? I mean, not that it matters, but
I don't think so. I don't remember.
But yeah, everything ties back to Jack because you realize that his failure and then his sudden success is linked to another traumatic event in his life where his wife actually contracts cancer and dies.
Yeah, lung cancer. Yeah.
Lung cancer, right. And then you find out that this whole fraternity of men that he's involved with, there may have been some sort of Faustian bargain that he made to get his success. Whether or not he knew that he would be sacrificing his wife to get it, I'm unsure. I kind of feel like it was implied that he did know.
I think he didn't know. I think he didn't know it was going to be that.
But then he knew after it happened, and then he just kind of,
he was okay with the news of her being sick and dying, but I think it wasn't. He didn't want to be like, okay, I choose her.
Yeah.
Because
there usually is like when it comes to Faustian bargains, and again they weren't super specific with this, but this is a trope we see in a lot of movies when people make deals with the devil, right?
Right.
You take short term gain, which in this case would be his success at his TV show, and usually you sell your soul or you make some sort of moral compromise where you pay for it in the long run.
I think he didn't know what the compromise would be. But once
but he knew he'd be hurting somebody, I think.
Yeah.
That's where the guilt comes from.
Right.
And yeah, that's wild to me. So the fact that the demon calls that out and then he goes on his own little crazy trip at the end of the movie, that's where things kind of really fell off the rails. I don't blame the movie for doing this, but when things really kick off, like the demon like makes the girl float, her head splits open, people start popping like balloons. Jack goes insane. That's when, like, in the third act, shit just hits the fan. And at that point, I enjoyed it, but at the same time, I was like, okay, the scares and the mystery is over. I'm just kind of waiting for this to wrap up. Yeah. That's my only critique of the film is I feel like they could have landed the plane a little better, but I enjoyed getting there, you know?
Yeah, I agree. They remind me of a VHS short. For sure. That part
That's
right
fair.
there. Yeah.
Yeah, because the VHS gets wild. How many VHS movies have you seen?
Me and Big W reviewed. I seen all of them. We saw all of them, but I think we only reviewed 3.
What's your favorite?
I think our favorites is the first 2.
Me too.
Yeah,
they're mean though. Have you gone back and watched them recently?
Not in a while. No.
Yeah, they're really mean spirited.
Yeah, for sure.
A little misogynist. No, I know that horror movies can be mean spirited, but like in a. It made me feel a little gross. Like they're a little misogynist, a little mean spirited. And again, I understand why, because you're dealing with some real scumbags.
Right.
But the way that things are framed, like there's a way to frame things that still kind of gives respect to the characters that are being shown disrespect by other characters, if that makes sense. I'm not knocking the movies or saying people shouldn't watch them.
Right.
But I feel like there's a lot of aspects of it that do feel a little gross. My favorite story, though, of the first 2 films, again, is definitely the cult-related one. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm talking about?
It's the second one, right?
Yeah, the second movie.
I think that's the all-around favorite. I think that's everyone's favorite short.
Isn't it? The part at the end when he goes, duh. So good.
Yeah, that was a good one, yeah.
Yeah. But, if you like anthologies and just really gnarly horror, then the VHS series is probably where it's at. And I haven't seen all of them, but the first 2 are definitely, I think,
they definitely... They definitely branch off to that.
Yeah, well, I was just saying, like, there's a lot of ones where women are just default bad or they're treated in a certain way. And again, it's just the way it goes. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, I've seen directors, like, I don't remember his name, but the director of The Wicker Man, the Nicolas Cage version comes to mind, where you just feel like they're kind of taking out their grievances on women in general in the film. And you're like, okay, what are you doing?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But no, with this movie... A fresh take on a possession, a really fresh take on horror in broad daylight, in the taping of a 70s talk show. Such a cool, unique concept that hasn't been done before, to my knowledge.
Yeah, I know.
And again, it's something I'd probably watch every year on Halloween. Like, I enjoyed it that much.
Yeah.
It's my Christmas vacation for Halloween.
It would have, you know what? It would have been cool if, like, they cut it into an actual. I think that's what the Night Owl, that episode that they did is, right? Like, they just cut the actual episode of his last show into like a regular show, formatted show.
Yeah. So do a cut of the movie that's literally just the show without all the extra stuff.
Yeah.
I feel like that has legs, man. That's a really good idea.
Yeah.
I mean, because you don't necessarily need to explain everything. I think enough is implied, and there could be a way to sneak some of that backstory into the show itself.
Right.
But then it would just be a good companion. So instead of seeing Jack's like perspective, people just be in the audience. They've all run out by now, but maybe the cameras are still running, and you just see Jack kind of rolling around on the stage.
Yeah, and then you see
having a psychotic episode.
Exactly. You really see what actually happened, rather than that third act of being like, you know, what's real and what's
like
not.
What's in his head. Yeah,
right.
Him being haunted by his guilt and his dead wife and all of that. Yeah. No, for sure. That's a really interesting idea.
Because I don't know if he killed. To me, the last scene seems like he killed everyone on set.
It does kind of seem like that, doesn't it?
Yeah.
No, that's definitely like one of the interpretations I was thinking about, but I never thought about a cut of the movie where you actually see that. Yeah. Or maybe, you know, and you know, they kind of set that up. You know how like they do the hypnotism and then you see his co-host like freak out because he thinks there's like worms or bugs or whatever.
Right.
And then you go back and watch the tape and that didn't happen. It would be interesting to see the end of the movie and then you go back and watch the tape, and that's the end of the movie.
Right.
You know, like where you see him actually go nuts, and then everybody's like, what the hell? And so you know what actually happened in his mind, but then you get to see like the aftermath. That's cool. I like that.
Yeah. It is. Yeah.
Look at you. You should direct. You should
look
direct
at
more
me.
Movies.
Yeah.
We need to get GP in as a consultant. Gruesome party.
Yeah.
I'm gonna scary up your movie, guys. I haven't forgot your nickname from the previous episode. That's good stuff.
What do you give Late Night with the Devil?
Late Night with the Devil. I'm going to give it a 4. It's not perfect, but I definitely think it's above average, and I really enjoyed it personally, and I would recommend it. Definitely over Cuckoo.
Yeah.
And again, it's one of those movies it's a fresh take on an old formula.
Right.
If you like possession films, you're going to like this one for sure. Yeah. Even if you don't like possession films, I think this has enough freshness to it that you may be into it if you just like a good story.
Yeah. Or if you just like Johnny Carson days of late night.
Yeah, if you're nostalgic for the 70s. Yeah, and horror, for sure. Because it's a good period piece. Like,
for sure.
I cannot speak tonight. It's a good but it's a good period piece. It really is. And I mean, if you grew up in the 70s, I did not. I was an 80s baby, but obviously when I was growing up, there's still a lot of really popular 70s movies. So I sort of have like rose tinted glasses for that era. Like I can kind of remember it. But to me it felt authentic. I don't know if an actual like Gen Xer would say the same, but
they probably were like, where's Jimmy Fallon?
Jimmy Fallon?
Where the roots at?
No, I said Gen Xer, not Gen Z. Generation X, they would have actually been kids in the 70s. I feel like they would have, you know.
Yeah.
But no. So a lot of cool references to real life things like Uri Geller, like James Randi, Johnny Carson, pre-Satanic Panic. Really interesting kind of occult story. A classic Faustian bargain framing, with a fresh take. So, couldn't recommend it enough. I think for people who are looking for a new Halloween movie, put that in your rotation for sure.
For sure. Well, Jay Leno.
Was he in the 70s?
Jay Leno started what? I think that's the 80s.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't think he started then either.
Yeah.
He sucks. He probably made a big deal.
So when Johnny
paid for it with his chin. He was like, wait a second. No, are you saying I got to have bad jokes and I got to have a huge chin? Oh, no.
Do I get a lot of cars?
I got to make fun of Monica Lewinsky like I have some kind of personal vendetta? No. I have to be a dickhead about Conan and everybody's going to hate me?
Oh, man. That's my favorite late night host is Conan O'Brien.
Conan is awesome.
Conan O'Brien.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
That's why I hate Jay Leno. Because of what he did to Conan. Like,
I think that's NBC, really. Because Jay
No.
was like, I'm done, and then the ratings wasn't too good with Conan, and he was like,
Conan spoke on it. Jay Leno fucked him.
okay,
Yeah, no, look into it, man. Like, there's
Okay.
interviews, like, Conan's able to talk about it now. He couldn't at the time, but no. Jay Leno, like, very directly just decided to come back. It wasn't a studio thing. They backed him, but Jay Leno called that shot.
okay, all right,
Yeah.
okay. Oh.
Yeah, a little inside baseball. Jay Leno sucks. That's my fresh take on, that's my hot take. That's cold. That's my cold take. Everybody already believes that, but
But I give it an 8.5 out of 10.
yeah.
I like I said, the 70s, that was a good way to like throw, this generation off as far as what they're gonna expect, because they didn't live through that era.
Yeah.
So
What's an 8-track?
exactly.
Nobody knows.
Right.
What's a hatchback? I wish
I think
was a little
they
bit
still
taller.
know a little bit.
I wish I was a baller.
Was she had a girl?
In a minute, I would call her at home using my rotary phone because ain't no cell phones.
No cell phones.
But I, da-da-da-da-da-da-9, da-da-da-da-da-4, da-da-da-da-da-1. Fuck, I fucked up. Da-da-da-da-da-9. Gonna take you like 6 years to make a phone call, and you gotta have all that shit written down. Kids today don't know,
Don't know. Don't show.
or just don't care about what's going on when they drink their juice in the hood. Oh, dude! By the way, can I glaze you up just a little bit?
Yeah.
I was listening to Abigail. You have come not so far because you were always good at editing. So I don't want to make it like a backhanded comment, but like the editing was great.
Thank you.
The sound sounded good. You do a really good job with these episodes, and I just
man.
want to give you your flowers.
Well, that's Frank now.
Oh, Frank does the editing now.
Yeah, that's
Oh, yeah,
Frank,
I
though.
forgot. Yeah, Frank's hooking it up. Well, you know what, Frank? You are the hero we deserve. And the one that we need. Thank you, Frank. But no, seriously, awesome
Yeah.
job. And I was catching up on some episodes. I was amazed that AD didn't know Meteor Man. I was like, what?
I think he tried to. That episode, I think he tried to. He really barely don't know, but I think I need to make him watch that movie. I think we need to watch
you do.
that
If
movie,
anything,
Sean.
just for the Jet magazine scene. That shit was hilarious. Oh my god! And then the Bill Cosby jump scare. Oh, he's in here. Oh no! Oh god! Don't drink it. That's my favorite part. He can touch, because that was a cool power. Like, you touch a book and you know everything in it.
Yeah.
He only knew it for like 30 seconds though, right?
Yeah, I think that like the third act with that movie, I could talk
Yeah.
about that movie forever, but
I
that
bet you
third act was just made me mad, because like it's like, how can do you still have powers?
Yeah.
Like, say he went to sleep after all of that
Mm-hmm.
and took like a month off and went to bed. Will he regain his powers?
Yeah, it wasn't well defined. Like, do you need to have the meteor near you?
Oh, this is just
do you need
it.
to touch it at intervals?
Right.
Like, did you have you been tapped of your own personal like potential with it?
Exactly.
Yeah, okay, let me ask you this, because I
Yeah.
think a lot of people out here need to know. This is definitely the topical, up-to-date type of conversation that we need to have. This is derailing the episode, but I don't even care. I'm having fun.
It don't matter. Yeah.
Blank Man or Meteor Man?
Ooh.
Yeah.
That's like
'Cause
saying-
I'm a blank man.
That's like saying Superman versus Batman.
Well, you need to choose.
Okay.
Because they made a movie.
Okay. All
Martha.
right. They should have connect those universes. That could have been one universe.
Why
If
did you say that name? No, I'm serious. Yeah. No, they
Yeah.
could have had Blank Man and Meteor Man team up.
But I'ma choose.
Pootie Tang could have been in the mix.
that's a whole nother. I would choose Meteor Man.
Okay.
I would choose Meteor Man because I feel like Blank Man was more of a parody than an actual black superhero movie.
I mean, he did save the day, and he saved
He
Robin
saved the
Givens,
day.
and that is a mission worth.
He did.
Yeah.
But
He was the original jizzed in my pants, by the way. Whenever she touched him, he was like, ow.
But I think like just the world itself felt like a TV series.
I'll give you that. Like Meteor Man definitely had legs as far as like the concept. I think
Right.
I'm Team Blank Man just because I enjoyed the movie more. Like I because again, it was a comedy and I just
Yeah.
found myself enjoying it and laughing along with it.
Uh-huh.
I don't even know if it should be canceled considering like he was definitely neurodivergent. Like, are we representing autism? What or is it special needs?
That's a whole other question.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, again, I can fondly look back on movies that are problematic and understand them to be that, but still enjoy them. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like
Yeah.
there are movies that like there's propaganda that I love, like Demolition Man.
Yeah.
I'm not pro cops, but I am pro Demolition Man. That movie is amazing.
That's a good
We
movie,
should
yeah.
if you guys do another versus, have me on. I want to
Okay.
do a versus with you. Maybe we can get Derek on.
Okay.
Full Metal Merc. We can do Blank Man versus Meteor Man. I feel like that would be a good versus.
That would be a good versus.
Right?
Hey, Frank.
Write that. Hey, Frank, write that shit down, Frank.
Write it down, Frank.
Write it down, Frank.
Write it down.
Write it down.
All right, people. Any last?
Yeah. People may not know from listening to this, but we just got done talking unrelated for hours. Nothing again to shout out. Just a quick shout out to my family. My kids, my wife. They're working hard. They're all in school. They're doing their thing, and I'm very proud of them. And I feel like a very lucky person. So, shout out to you and AD for everything that you guys do. Once again, you're hilarious. Shout out to the Halloween horror movie review. Let's do this every year. I had so much fun.
Yeah, that's fun for sure. Yeah.
Hell yeah. So that's it for me.
Okay. All right, people. We will see you on the next one. Peace.
Deuces.